So I'm sure that you guys know the Jimmy Dore Show. We've covered it a few times in this channel. But he recently had an interview, and it's quite the extensive interview with Mark Blyth, who is an economist who actually predicted Brexit and Trump, which is honestly remarkable. But also, he's a very smart guy, in my opinion. And it's awesome to listen to him because he is actually educated on the topics that we like to talk about, acting as if we have degrees. He actually has degrees, and he's a professor in Ivy Leagues at Brown University. It's one of the Ivy League schools. So, what I wanted to share with you guys is an interesting point that he brought up, and this is something that I look at and I have for a long time, ever since I really got into politics, that other people don't really see. And what Mark says is, well, Jimmy Dore asked him the question. He goes, so you grew up in a welfare state in Scotland, so what does that mean? He goes, it's welfare in Scotland was this idea that, hey, we pay higher taxes so that you are able to get a higher job as a result of higher education and stay out of being forced into this doing crime and things like that, and doing drugs and selling drugs and doing crime in general, stealing and all that, and more importantly, a higher education, because the more money you make, the more you pay in taxes, therefore the more of a payback you get. So what he says is, he goes, if they pay taxes and then I actually go and get a higher education, and I'm making like $200,000-$300,000 more than I would as if I didn't have that job and I was just a minimum wage worker or something of that nature, then I'm paying way higher taxes. Those taxes that I pay is going to pay off those taxes that you paid for my welfare 4, 5, 6, 7 times over, meaning that it's an investment. That's what it is, and that's what he says. It's an investment, and this is how I've always looked at it. Hey, you put money in. That means that they will get a higher job and they will put more money into the economy by paying taxes 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times over. And here's the thing Republicans don't get either. And this is where the stupidity levels go rampant. If you were not to pay that, what you're doing anyways is you're going to end up paying for the welfare that they're on with your taxes anyways. So which one is better? Go ahead, tell me. Is it better if they're on just welfare and they don't have a job? Or is it better if they actually are able to get a higher education and get a higher job that eventually leads to them paying more in taxes because of the fact that they make more money? So a lot of people don't get this, but I see it more of it as an investment than a cost, and a bigger benefit to society and the economy in general, because the more we do that, the more we get people who would have been thieves or whatever, drug addicts, drug sellers, everything like that, drug users, and we turn them into people like this. So he went from being on welfare in Scotland to being an Ivy League professor. You think that without the welfare state, he wouldn't have been like that? In America, welfare is, if you're on welfare, we're going to shame you to death because you're a horrible person and you're taking welfare. You're a lazy motherfucker. I don't care if you don't have a job because you can't get a job. You're homeless and all that. Screw you. Fuck you. It's so terrible. And he says this too. It's superbly political in America. So the way he broke it down was amazing. And again, this guy actually has degrees, so it's tough to argue with him. And if you want to see an intellectual person who is, generally speaking, agreeing with your points, which is what people like to hear, let's be realistic here. He is actually educated, so he has the facts to back it up, and he understands massively complicated things. So definitely check out Mark Blyth and the Jimmy Dore extensive interview that they did. There's a bunch of clips on it. It was really very good.